Greetings, everyone. How y'all doing? Uh, ugh. Let's see here. All right. Greetings, family. How y'all doing? It's good to see you guys. I know it's been, what is it now? 5 days, something like that. Um, let's see. Well, okay. All right. I know it's been a few days. I know the world has been a host of insanity, but I tried to tell y'all what was coming down the pipe. Gave y'all a few days. Took a few days myself because y'all emotions was doing me. And I couldn't have it. I couldn't have it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's lovely to see you all jolly on the spot. You feel me? Yes, baby. Y'all emotions was doing me. I swear. I was feeling everybody emotions. I did that long ass live the morning of the vote, which was really good. It was a good live. It was a good discussion, great feedback. I was hyped when I got off that live. Then, as I told y'all I would, I went up the mountain at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and made a call. It was very short notice, so I didn't think anybody was going to meet me. And made a call for people to come and join me up on the mountain out at Griffith Observatory here in LA. And the sister out of Selly met me up on the mountain, honey, and we conducted ritual out there. There was still probably about 300 people out there. And yes, the sister is a Mexican, and my black ass, you feel me? And we got up there, and she came and her regalia and brought all her little magical working items, and I brought my magical working items. And baby, we conducted ritual on that motherfucking mountain. You understand? We did that. And it was so necessary. It was so necessary because the next day, plus the moon on that night, that shit was damn near blood red. There wasn't no blood. There wasn't no blood moon on Tuesday night. But the way the sunset hit the moon, it was a crescent moon. When I tell you that shit was blood red, we were like, whoa, whoa. It was radical. It was really radical. Me and another woman went up there, honey, casting conspiracies. Let me tell you, in the state, the little secret agent, the little sleeper agent that exists in us all in the form of our goddamn conditioning is always ever vigilant. Because I took a black candle with a little dish, right? We laid the blanket out on this wet ass ground. They had just watered the grass. We laid this blanket out on this wet ass grass. You feel me? I had my little black dish with my black candle and lit a candle on wet grass. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as I lit that candle, this security guy came from all the way across the other side of the grass, which was relatively far. You can't have fire on the grass. I said, fire on the grass. I ain't built a fire out here, nigga. It's a candle. He was like, you can't have that fire lit. I said, I can't have this candle lit on a big black glass plate on a big blanket that's soaking wet from the wet ass grass that we on top of. You have to blow that candle out. I was like, that's a sleeper cell agent. You understand? That when two women go up in the dark, you can barely see anything out there. Go up in the dark, and we was being quiet in the beginning to do a ritual, and baby, that shit irritated his demons so bad that he had to come out his way. All them people up there had to be 300 people up there. Honey, he had to come out of his way to address what was irritating his demon soul. He came over, we blew the candle out. I said, that's all right, you can go now. And as soon as he went, I said, sing one of your ancestral songs. She said, okay. And so she was trying to sing real low, shaking the little shaker, singing the song. I said, I said, sing that song, girl. I said, sing that song. You understand? So she started singing louder. And then I'm like, yes, just like that. Yes, sing the song. And she started singing that song louder. And the more she sang, the louder she got. Like she became emboldened in that moment. You understand? It was really great. It was really great. But the next day, honey, I had all these plans for my life the next day. And I got up the next day and felt every last one of y'all emotions. I was subdued up in here, child. I was subdued. I felt all of y'all. I was like, And the one time I left the house on Wednesday, I swear 3 white people must have stopped me. I was just going to the grocery store to get my cat some food. You understand? And in that short little trip from my house to the grocery store, 3 white people stopped me and they were like, are you okay? You feel all right today? I cannot, y'all. I can't. I know that many of you went out, you feel me, and casted your fate, casted your lot at the polls. No judgment. But baby, them first 2 days, I'm like, if another white person stopped me and asked me if I'm okay, hell yeah, I'm okay. I ain't vote for them motherfuckers. I didn't cast my vote with a nail one of them, not an area one of them. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. You understand? This last week been something else. It's not funny, but all you can do is laugh. All you can do is laugh. You understand? I have been talking about this day for 5 years. What year is it? 2024? I got here in 2008. I've been talking to y'all about this day for 5 years. Before y'all even elected Biden. I've been talking to y'all about this day for 5 years. Show have. I can go right now into my archives, the 287 videos I got posted on this joint, and go right back to the stream of videos I did right before y'all put Biden in office. I can go back to them. And what it is going to tell you is that, oh shit, what the fuck did we do? I can go back just a few months ago to videos that I did because I knew what was going to happen. I knew that they were going to be harvesting your fucking emotions the 2 months out before this election. They were going to be harvesting, literally mining your emotions to do exactly what they needed your raw ass emotions to do 2 months out. I can go back to videos I did just in August saying, do what you feel like you have to do with the vote, but do not invest your goddamn valuable emotional energy in this shit. We got bigger shit to be concentrating on, bigger shit to do. I can go right back, right this second, to a video that I did about, maybe 2 months ago, around my birthday, September, telling you guys, as further than that, because as soon as they revealed Kamala as the new candidate, I was like, this is gonna be a problem. This is gonna be a problem because this shit right here, this one monumental move that they made, bypassing everything that was the so-called democratic process to determine who was going to be the Democratic candidate. I said, it's going to be a problem because they are going to corral and harvest all your valuable energy behind this woman. They're going to do that. the narrative that they will rely on, and they did, the state did. I ain't saying red, I ain't saying blue. I'm saying the state did as a singular entity, the red and the blue. As a singular entity, the red and the blue. I heard somebody else the other day talk about, the blue isn't left wing anymore. And it was like, oh shit, they do. It's right there in your face. They call it left wing and right wing. Left wing of what? Right wing of what? A singular entity. The left wing of a bird, the right wing of a bird, a singular entity. I ain't gonna get that deep on y'all. I just want to tell you. Sometimes I understand how uncomfortable, because I've had to do it. I've had to eat crow. You feel me? Sometimes I know, and I try to be tender with people's emotions. I do. Because I know why we're so invested. And so I be real. They opposite sides of the same bird. The same bird. You feel me? I try to be really tender with people's emotions. But I'm not going to be tender with your emotions today. I told y'all 2 months ago. 2 months ago. Do not let this colored woman have you betray your integrity. Don't do it. If you want to be radical, if you want to be, if you want to do something revolutionary, seemingly revolutionary in spirit, and you really do not see any other way for to do that other than the vote, okay, fine. But if you're going to be radical, if you're going to be revolutionary, if you're going to be gangster, you feel me, within the context of this, in your mind, being the only way to exert power in the system, then the most revolutionary thing you can do is at least vote for a third party. That's some revolutionary shit within the context of this little shit that is presented to you as the only way to exert power in the world. Y'all ain't even had the courage to do that. 10,000 of you, 20,000 of you, 20 million of you ain't even had the bare minimum amount of courage that it takes to go behind a veiled door where nobody can even see what you did with your vote and vote for a third party. Y'all ain't even did that. You understand? I understand that a lot of you are feeling betrayed. I've seen I've seen all the videos. I've seen all the controversy. I've seen all the percentages of who voted how. I've seen all of it. I've seen the white women stressing about where they can purchase their blue bracelet. I done seen extremists talking about, what that bullshit now, your body, my choice bullshit. All of this shit, child, is a distraction. I swear to you it is. All this shit is a distraction. That shit is churning your rage, your grief, your disappointment, your uncertainty to mine you, to bleed you dry off the energy this fucking monstrous war god feeds off of and loves it, is lapping it up. 92% of black women that voted for Kamala. You are the target of the energy that they are mining, bitch. What is it? 78% of black men voted for Kamala. You melanated people are the target of this new energy mining that they are doing. And you're giving it up freely. What is it? 38%? 38% of Mexican women voted for Trump. Those other, 52% or 62% that didn't? Yo, melanated ass is who they are mining. Not just since the vote. Y'all wasn't even paying attention before. They was coming out the mouth crazy sideways. Like really unabashed. You understand? Really wasn't even being finesseful. in they bullshit. You feel me? It was rage baiting at its best. And you feel right in line. It was immature. It didn't even feel strategic. It didn't even feel like calculated. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when the state, when the state and like the state's apparatus of the media, they'll have code. You understand? They'll be really strategic in their code for like racism or misogyny or patriarchy or colonial conquest. They'll have code. They'll have some quote decorum when they are bashing you over the head with a motherfucking club. You feel me? They'll have some. They'll be strategic in that shit. They wasn't even faking the phone. They was coming out the neck, y'all. I was like, this shit is like twisted comedy or some shit. They was coming out the neck, and y'all was taking the bait, baby. Taking the bait. Everybody in their motherfucking emotions. Y'all little emotions raw. I told you. What's his name? William Brzezinski. I've been telling y'all this shit for 5 years. This motherfucker was Ronald Reagan's right hand man. And he wrote, how many motherfucking years ago? How long ago was the Reagan administration? Motherfucking 40 years ago or some shit? He said, look, make no mistake. He wrote it. You can go buy the book, right? I might have to read that book to y'all because I've been telling y'all this over and over again. Brzezinski said himself in the Grand Chessboard, make no mistake. There is nothing that happens in this world as political policy, both domestic and foreign, that we have not planned for. At least 25 years in advance. No amount of voting in the world was going to yield the result that you wanted. And I don't know how many ways I got to tell y'all that. Y'all, what's wrong is y'all can't hear it as the truth until you hear it from a white man's mouth. So I'm gonna have to read this book, The Grand Chessboard, to you. Do you really think this shit that you seeing as statistics about who showed up and how does not fucking matter? It doesn't matter. Who was going to sit in the White House on November 5th of 2024 was planned for before some of you were born. I'm trying to tell you. Not just since before you were born, since before I was born. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all, and I'm not talking about conspiracy theory. I am talking about what I talked to you about a few days ago, the last live that I did. This weapon here, this most monstrously efficient weapon here, this thing right here is the most proficient and accurate, monstrous weapon. This radically specific blueprint for what? The establishment and the maintenance of empire. How? Using astrology. That's what this is. Using astrology. Matched with what? The astrological, mythological stories that are an indication of power potential at certain periods when our heavenly brothers and sisters, the other planets, are moved and aligned in a certain way. 5 years ago, when I started teaching you about this period that we are in right now, America's first Pluto return, and I started talking to y'all about that 5 fucking years ago. And I said, if for no other reason, if you never read astrology, if you never get your chart done, if you never have somebody read you astrologically, if you don't even believe in astrology, that's okay. If for no other reason that you listen to what I'm telling you about America's first Pluto returns, is that even as you do not believe in astrology and you don't have your chart done and you flailing about the motherfucking life, this path called your life destiny, blind as fuck, you feel me? Don't matter. Because there is somebody in some position of power every fucking where on earth that pays attention to astrology so specifically takes it so seriously. I think it was the first time we were ever made aware of it was under under Reagan's administration. That there was the people were like, what the fuck? There was a full-time astrologer on Reagan's administration. I had a priest, a female priest, tell me 2 years ago that when she went to Nigeria to get herself crowned Shango, that the Babalawo that crowned her told her, like, y'all in trouble because y'all ain't doing what y'all need to do to make shit swing in your favor. She's like, what you mean? She said, don't you know that this is what the Babalawo told her. In 2016, when Trump put his bid in the hat to run for president, everybody was like, this dude joking, he being funny, this shit ain't real or whatever. The Babalawo told her, this was just 2 years ago, and he talking about the 2016 election. He said, don't you know that Donald Trump had representatives come to Nigeria to have readings done on his behalf about the likelihood of him taking the president? I can just tell you what the priest told me. That's all I can tell you is what the priest told me. That he told her while she was getting cramped, child, that in 2016 he sent representatives to the HIN, what do you call it? The head HNIC, the head nigga in charge in Nigeria, to have himself read about the likelihood of him taking the goddamn candidacy in 2016. You feel me? Why am I telling you this? Because for 5 years, I have been telling you, I did a whole 7-part series, 2 hours each series. This was in 2020. This was in January of 2020. A whole seven series, 2 hours each lecture on the significance of America's first Pluto returns and why Black people, why brown people, why red people in particular needed to be paying attention to that which everybody on earth was watching patiently. What's going to happen? Because we don't pay attention. That's not our acculturation. But I had been hearing it over and over again. All these astrologers from all over the world. America's going to set the stage for the next age. Whatever happens to America during its first Pluto returns is going to set the stage for the whole goddamn planet for the next millennia. I'm like, oh shit, that's a hella statement. Let me get up in here and figure out what the fuck is going on. I know nothing about astrology minimally until then. I was like, oh no, I need to be paying attention to this shit. You feel me? Every nation, every modern nation on earth since the Roman Empire pays attention politically, strategically pays attention to its nation's first Pluto returns. Every nation on earth. The place that I started was the first Pluto return that you can read about, which was Rome's first Pluto returns, which damn near ended it because a bitch because a white woman in a motherfucking turqa, isn't that what they call it? A turqa in like Greece and shit, and they be tied up like that. You know, what is that thing called that they wear in the Greece? Is it a turqa? What's that shit called? You know, and it's on one shoulder and it's like you got to like a belt around it or whatever. Anyway, this white bitch, toga, thank you. A toga. This white woman in a toga. You feel me? There's so much to learn in the story about Boudica. I get it. We be race nationalists, so we don't be wanting to learn nobody else's history but our own. I get it. But there's so many lessons to be garnered in this conflict between a white woman and the Roman Empire that almost ended the Roman Empire during its first Pluto returns. Boudica, whose husband was a punk, whose husband, the king, was a punk. The Roman Empire had been conquering every one of their neighbors. This is Britain when it was still a goddess worshiping, society. The Roman Empire had been conquering all their neighbors strategically because Britain at this time was the biggest the biggest area. And then all of these little, enclaves of little tribes and townships and villages and shit that surrounded it. And her husband kept saying, every time somebody would get, conquered or whatever, he was like, well, they refused to, pay tribute to the emperor and they wasn't acting right. You feel me? So, that had to happen or whatever. And she's like, that something is up with this. He was like, no, if we keep doing what we're doing, if we keep paying tribute, you feel me? If we keep up friendly relations and shit, you feel me? We'll be all right. She's like, this is a mess. Something is not right. Something rotten in Denmark. You feel me? She kept saying, and one by one, the Roman Empire plucked off neighbor by neighbor, consumed neighbor by neighbor by neighbor. The emperor then came to the people in their house, had dinner in their house. You understand? Friendly relations with the kings the whole time. His wife was like, child, he's setting us up. He is setting us up for the okie doke. He's like, no, you don't know anything about political, strategic political engagement. And what's that other shit y'all call it? Like, when not allies, but like friendly relations or whatever. You feel me? She's like, listen, I got a uterus. I got a uterus, bitch. I can intuit better than you. And this shit is with that bullshit. This motherfucker right here is with that bullshit. That's what he is. And do you know what happened? After dining multiple times in their home, being fed, being diplomacy, thank you so much, being taken care of, being set up, being adorned, paying tribute to the emperor. After he had isolated them by consuming each one of their neighbors to where they, even though bigger, were left alone. No allies left to rely on, nothing. The Roman emperor descended upon his allies, his friends that had been loyally paying tribute. If we just act right, he gonna act right. And if we just act right, he gonna act right. Came into their home and proceeded to command his soldiers to sexually assault her daughters and then kill them. And then, as a last resort, killed the king that had been schmoozing with him all these years, killed the king in front of her. And she went into hiding. She went underground. She got away. She went underground. And when she reemerged, she had garnered the support, I think it was 30,000 men. She had garnered the support of 30,000 faithful and loyal subjects. Now we're going to go destroy Rome for what they did to us, to my daughters, to my husband, who was loyal in his support. We are not going to fight until every citizen of Rome is dead. That's what she did. This white girl. That's what she did. This white girl. And she came close. This first war during Rome's first Pluto Returns almost ended Rome. And I forget what it was they said the event was that basically allowed Rome to regain the upper hand, and they finally subdued the rebellion. But there are statues of Boudica still emerged all over Great Britain. This is the old ass, ancient ass Roman Empire, pre-Christian, still pagan ass Roman Empire. And their first Pluto Returns put them in a situation where they were almost completely eradicated, holy shit, off the map by a woman who led 30,000 men and women into battle against Rome. While y'all sitting out here grieving and dismayed and bewildered about this is not the failure of your democracy, what happened to you on November 5th. This was the revelation that you never had a democracy. That was what November 5th was. It was not a betrayal of America. It was not a betrayal of the democratic process. I don't give a fuck who voted how. You didn't have a choice. Even if you bloated, even if you voted blue, you did not have a choice. It was the illusion of choice, because you have perpetually been presented with the illusion of opposition. What did I tell you that the owner of BlackRock said days before the election? It doesn't matter who sits in the White House, our objectives will be met. They tell you to your face perpetually. You understand? The second Roman Pluto returns. The second one. They almost lost the Roman Empire in the first one. But the second one guaranteed Rome's fall. The Rome fell during its second Pluto returns. And I taught y'all this, and it's right here in these archives of mine. The workshops that people paid for and came through every week for 7 weeks in preparation for Pluto's entry into Capricorn at the degrees, at 29 degrees, on the day this rotten, filthy bitch baptized in blood was given birth to, 1776. 240 years to the day. 248 years to the day. So we did for 7 weeks that workshop leading up to February 20th of 2022 to prepare you for what was to come in these 2 years that Pluto was going to do this seesaw transition between Capricorn and Aquarius. I told y'all then, put your big person draws on, because this shit is going to take you through the ringer. This shit is going to take you through the ringer. But if we keep our motherfucking minds right, we will emerge victorious on the other side of this shit. And them same 2 years, they have been rocking and shocking your fucking emotions to sleep. Just when you think you got a little moment, a little patch of time to catch a breath and catch a break and recover, they jacking you in the jaw with some other shit. They kicking you in the motherfucking chest with some other shit. We entered into Pluto's America's first Pluto return on February 20th of 2022, and 2 days later, on the singular, what do they call it? The singular most powerful palindrome in the whole history of the world, February 22nd of 2022, which actually happened to coincide with the birthday of the first rotten, filthy motherfucking president to crown himself emperor of the United States. Birthday, George Washington. George Washington's birthday, the first president of this filthy, rotten bitch, on the exact degree that Pluto was when these so-called founding fathers drafted into the Constitution that America was an entity, a sovereign nation, or whatever the fuck. Is this a coincidence? This thing that just happened on February 20th, 2022, and then 2 days later, February 22, 2022, the most powerful palindrome in the whole of history. And on that day is the day that they announced to you that America was going to be funding and participating and supporting this aggression that had just unfolded in Ukraine and Russia. The same damn day. I said, here the fuck we go with this bullshit. Here we go. Here we go. Strap the fuck in. I knew it that day. I said, they are really fucking bodacious with this shit. On George Washington's birthday, 2 days after the goddamn Pluto return that was on the birth chart of the United States of America when it was born. And this is the day they're going to announce that they're going to start funneling billions of dollars into supporting Ukraine in this aggression against Russia. I said, here we go. Strap in. Strap in. Not only that, a Pluto returns that represents 2 possibilities, 2 extremes. A Pluto returns, just like Pluto in your chart, is about your shadow shit, your unresolved shit. Can you resolve it? Can you look your shadow in the face? Say, damn, that was real fucked up what I did. I need to figure out a way to repair the damage. I need to figure out a way to reconcile this shit. I need to figure out a way to get on the right side of my own history so that I can evolve. So you got that choice to face your shit, uncover the deep, ugly, stinking worst of yourself, and attempt to reconcile it energetically so it doesn't haunt you for the rest of your life. Or the other option is to dig your heels in your arrogance and say, fuck that. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That was a long time ago. I ain't even trying to hear that shit. A Pluto returns represents two extremes that are possibilities for your future as a nation, because we don't experience Pluto returns in our life because they too long. It's 248 years to 252 years. So in a nation, when Pluto returns in a nation's chart, it is forcing the nation to face your beginnings, to face your origin, to reconcile your birth, whatever was happening at your time of birth as a nation, to face it and reconcile it. And in that, you can evolve. Your nation can evolve, and Pluto brings all the necessities, that all of the necessary material and information and innovation and all of those things that allow you to evolve, not just evolve, but like quantitatively leap forward in your evolution. But if you dig your heels in and refuse facing your past, it can be the beginning of the end of your nation. Like Rome had almost lost its ass in its first return, didn't learn, and lost its ass in the first year of its return. In the first year, it didn't even make it to the full 2-year transition, because it takes about 2 years for Pluto. This goddamn IG. I might have to stop it because it's frozen again. Anyway, it takes 2 years, a little more than 2 years, for Pluto to make its official transition from one house to the next. And let me stop this really quick and restart this, because these motherfuckers. And this social media, this some shit we gonna have to solve. This social media shit we are going to have to solve, because I know it is not just me. I know it's not just me. Somebody said I'm cussing too much, and the bots probably said no. Probably, you're right. You're probably right. Let me see if I can tone it down a little bit. I don't know, because y'all know how I be when I get in a vibe, but we shall see. But anyway, so the thing that every astrologer was saying early on is America has a very clear birth history that it has to reconcile if it is going to evolve. And instead of America and the representatives of America heeding this very known information about the urgency of facing and resolving the crimes of its birth, the crimes of its origin, so that it has the ability to evolve into the new age, the representatives of America have said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do exactly the opposite. What we're going to do is we are going to reinstitute everything that was great for us about that age, about that time. It was not an accident that this aggression between Ukraine and Russia was happening, and America decides on George Washington's birthday, the first president that existed at the time of this return motion, or at the time that Pluto was in its map and the origin of the United States, to choose that very specific day to announce to the U.S. public, we're gonna throw full economic and wartime support behind Ukraine in this aggression against Russia. And not only that, this thing happened in the height of Black History Month, the return and the beginning of this aggression. You understand? And I'm gonna tell you, I've been teaching this for a while, and unfortunately, I haven't mastered the art of how to get my content algorithmically um, circulated in a way that masses of people have been able to receive this information that is not information that many are talking about, and especially not from my understanding. This very practical bridge between astrology and political history. Nobody's talking about, well, there's one astrologer who is, I talk about him all the time, astrology report. But even his worldview is limited because he is a nice little British guy talking about world history from a very Eurocentric perspective. And so I have to fill in the lines for us colored people. You feel me? Because they act like history was only unfolding in Europe for the whole of human history. You feel me? So that's one thing, right? What did I call this? What did I call this live? Somebody tell me what the name of this live is, because I can't see it while I got it on. Share screen. Nope. Somebody tell me what I entitled this live. Anybody remember? Conniving and being very sinister with a devious plan to sneak attack. You best to know it. Yes, absolutely. Matriarchal was definitely in charge. The Sybils are in control. I'll tell you what happened. What had happened was they America's first Pluto return is complete. Thank you so much. They had a very clear target on November 5th. They knew how urgent everything was for us. They had a clear target, and we made that target very clear. It was Black women. But I've been telling y'all that all along. I've been telling y'all that all along. I've been telling y'all that in every way I possibly can. Pluto is who? It's the goddess Oya. Aquarius, her husband, for whom she is about to meet again for the first time in 248 years, is Shango, Aquarius. This is how the mythology unfolds in real time. Shango and Oya meet again for the first time in 240 years. Hopefully, if we can channel their energy to do what it is they supposed to do, which is to wreck everything that is to establish the new, which is Shango's energy, the revolutionary energy that supports his wife, Oya, who comes to change everything. She says, when I come into the space, I come to change the laws. I come to change the institutions. I come to destroy that which is no longer serving evolution. That's what I've come to do. And then Shango, being the radically fly, entertaining revolutionary that he is, says, yes, what the fuck she said. We up in here. Let's go. This is the energy for the next 20 years. And so thank you for the reminder of my own title for my live, which is called America's First Pluto Return is Complete. When? At least this transitional period that I was talking about with Rome, the 2 years of transition. November 19th, in 9 days. In 9 days, this thing that I have been talking to you about for 5 years, teaching for 4, in workshops, in lectures, and on here for 4 years. This is the quintessential power up period for Native American people, for Black people, for Mexican people, for Asian people, for the indigenous population of the entire Western Hemisphere, for Africans. America has its tentacles on everything and in every place on earth. That's why all the astrologers were saying whatever happens in America during its first Pluto returns will reverberate throughout the lands for a millennia. that shit is going to have to be set off by us, because right now somebody is energy mining, emotion mining your raw ass emotions, instigated by the state, instigated by this media, to harvest these emotions. So you don't have the energy, you don't have the will, you don't have the hope, you don't have the confidence to wage a motherfucking campaign, baby, to establish institutions of dual and contending power. You don't. And I have been saying since day one, this shit is so epic. It's so beautiful. Yes, I know everything seems like it's falling apart around you. We should be welcoming the destruction of the old age. We should be, I've been saying, man, where is the party? Haven't I been saying that? Where is the massive fucking stadium size witches revival that can contend? How all of us, because let me tell you, when I say witches, I mean every last one of us. I mean, when I mean every last one of us, I mean exactly the way the Roman Catholic Church identified all of us as witches. Whether we believed in Jesus or not, we was witches. Because if you knew how to use herbs to heal your kinfolk now, your ass was a witch. I don't care if you was using Jesus out your mouth to consecrate the herbs. The church saw you as a witch. I don't care if you was a midwife. I just told y'all about the Rockefeller politically led campaign to destroy midwifery in the United States of America by using smear campaigns and slander campaigns against Black, Jewish, and Native American women. That wasn't but a hot second ago. That wasn't hundreds of years ago. That was at the turn of the 20th century. They was witches. Politically, they had been identified as witches, not spiritually, not Christianly, not Catholically. I didn't even know, child. We think about the Inquisition, and the only thing we've ever heard is Spanish Inquisition. And the Spanish Inquisition lasted a long time. But do you know there were scores of independent inquisitions led by the Roman Church, the Roman Catholic Church, wherever it was? Do you know that the official ending date, the beginning of the Inquisition, was in the late 1300s? The beginning. Do you know that the official end of the Inquisition was in the late 1800s? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? There are estimates that the totality of the Inquisition lasted almost 900 years. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. And every time we hear the Inquisition, all we think is, and that's not to reduce, but we only think about the brutalized white women in Europe that were the victims of the Inquisition. Do you know that there was a department of the Holy Roman Inquisition throughout the Americas, South America, Central America, North America? Did y'all know that? That the department of the Inquisition had people the Inquisition wasn't just in Rome. It spilt out all over the globe. There were departments of the Holy Roman Inquisition in Africa. Everywhere they was colonizing, the Inquisition went. So the genocide that you talk about when you talk about Native American people or indigenous people throughout the Western Hemisphere, the genocide in the onslaught to capture Africans, the genocide of the people of New Zealand and of Australia and the Philippines, and the list goes on and on and on. The aggressions carried out were a part of the Holy Roman Inquisition. That's why I keep telling y'all to be short-sighted and call everything just to explain everything from this very narrow place of political understanding. You are missing the boat so big. The Holy Roman Inquisition lasted almost the official end, where the department of the Holy Roman Inquisition was finally disbanded, was in the late 1800s. the late 1800s. This is the place where the state and the church are wed. Anyway, I ain't gonna get that deep on y'all, but I'm just saying, man. I did a live with you guys not too long ago talking about music as a spell, right? And I was saying in that live how I was talking about the bard, the history of the bard, the history of the gleeman. Come on in the room, Vayoni. Vayoni say, well, damn, the CIA been around for centuries technically then. The Central Intelligence Agency is the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. That is an astute assessment, my dear. I love it. Thank you for it. The CIA been around for centuries, technically. Yes. Yes. Cloaked in a dress called the Pope. Anyway. But in this live that I did a few weeks ago called Music as a Spell, one of the things that I talked about that has been showing up a lot in like the Wheel of Time and The Witcher, these like sci-fi fantasy shows or whatever, is the gleeman, is the bard. It's like the guy who is reduced typically to like a funny character that gives you like comedic relief in this really serious story or whatever. That's always how the gleeman has been portrayed, how the bard historically has always been portrayed. But in this video, I'm not going to go that deep into it, but in the video you can go back to, I did a few weeks ago, called Music as a Spell. I go into a deep, deep dive. And for those of you who may be Black and may not be familiar with the concept of the bard or the gleeman, in African culture, this was the griot. This was the storyteller. This was the storyteller. This was the master storyteller or the master poet who told real life stories in art form, in song. You understand? In song or in poetry, right? The gleeman and the bard. So I really encourage you guys to go back and watch those videos. It was 2 videos because it was long, called Music as a Spell. I encourage you to do that because even when I was doing the research for this idea that I have been ruminating with around music as a spell, I cover a lot of things. I cover all these little cute conspiracy theories about like the Illuminati takeover of hip hop and, rock and roll is the devil's music. And, I have a preacher on there talking about how if you listen to any music where the emphasis is on the 2 and 4, you listening to devil's music. That's how you know you're listening to devil's music. If the emphasis of the music is on the 2 and 4 instead of the 1 and 3, you listen to syncopation. That's how you know you listening to devil's music. Feel me? It's a really comical and really in-depth thing. But getting back to the bard and the gleeman, the reason I bring them up now is because the bard and the gleeman were the keepers of all history. One of the bards in one of the movies, I think it was The Wheel of Time, the guy said these 2 kids asked the gleeman. He was like, yo, he's like, you seem to know a lot for a man who just sings songs, right? And the guy says, the gleeman is the mask I wear so that people are not afraid of who I truly am. And they were like, well, who is that? And he was like, there's nothing more, what did he say? There's nothing more dangerous. There's nothing more dangerous than he who knows the past. So I put on a mask. I crack jokes. I sing funny songs. Because if people knew who I really was, they would be afraid. There's nothing more dangerous than he who knows the past. And isn't it funny that in every story about that it has a gleeman, a bard, a singer, a griot, they're typically reduced to crazy. Oh, he's just a funny guy. He's just crazy. He's just a town drunk. That's always how they're portrayed. And then to read the history, the true history, in preparation for this video that I did, of who the bard was, of who the gleeman was, of how revered they were in society, of who supposedly gave rise to the art of the bard and the gleeman. It was one of the 9 muses, one of the 9 goddess inspirers of all the arts, gave birth to the first bard, who was who? Orpheus. Orpheus. Master, singer, musician, writer. So much so that as a human, he was said to have been so profound in his craft that he became deified when he died, and a whole cult was fashioned after his writings. A whole cult that lasted for eons after his writings. This is the bard. This is how music translates to one who is the keeper of all history's secrets, the bard. This is how our music is used against us. The bard, the most beloved and the most dangerous, because he knows the past and can hide it in plain sight, in limerick, in iambic pentameter, and entertaining and cracking jokes. It is said that the bard was notoriously hired by all the nobility to keep an accurate account in his brain, in his memory, of their family tree. Who begot who, begot who, begot who. The bard was the keeper of the family tree for nobility. And then they could hire him to come and perform a song or a few songs or a performance about the history of their own family. Who begot who and how they were. And he was notoriously whatever. I was like, this shit is radical. This shit is radical. And so all this time, even with the advent of the internet, which should have blown our wigs off, and we should have already staged a contest with this monstrous bitch, just by having access to one another this way, just by the rapid expansion and sharing of information that we thought was forever lost. Now it's here at our fingertips, child, and we have just been thrusted backwards into straight barbarism. The age of information, the second age of, quote, enlightenment, the internet. And we have just been thrust backwards into barbarism with all this information in our hands, with all of this access to one another in our hands. I was just interviewed a month ago by a woman sitting in her living room in India. That shit was impossible just 3 decades ago. And here we are in real time being thrust backwards into straight, unadulterated barbarism with a South African illegal immigrant billionaire in bold-faced, audacious fashion, influencing what you swear is a democratic process called the election. And he was just telling y'all, see how flimsy this shit is? I can just roll the fuck up in here, throw a few dollars here and there and everywhere. You feel me? Throw some little false information here and there and to and fro to get y'all off the scent. You feel me? Do a couple of billboards to hand out a couple of $100 bills for everybody that signed on to vote for Trump. They ain't even hide the shit. Came here as an illegal immigrant, sure did. Yes, he did. You see how flimsy your fucking American democracy is? Here, let me show you real quick. That's what he just did. This shit flimsy. This shit is flimsy. You feel me? So I want to tell you, I started out this way. You feel me? But I actually want to tell you, child, that there is hope. Because even as this shit is revealed, that's who Oya is. That's who Hades is. That's who Pluto is, the great revealer. Isn't that who they are? I'm talking about mythological. Isn't that who their characters are? The book of Revelations, in this monstrous piece of literature, is about this period. This period. This period. I told you it's a book of astrology. Tell me I'm lying. Jesus said to his crew, right before he was supposed to go up on the cross, he was like, they're gonna come and get me. They're gonna kill me. This is my destiny, to die for humanity. He said, but I'm gonna come back. You might not even recognize me when I come back. And the disciples was like, well, how we gonna know it's you? How we gonna find you? Where you gonna be at? And he said, go, you're gonna go into this city. You're gonna go into Bethlehem, I think. You're gonna go into Bethlehem. And there you are going to find a man bearing a pitcher of water. That's what he said. He's gonna find a man bearing a pitcher of water. This in your King James Version Bible. You're gonna find a man carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he enters. There shall I be. It's in your King James beloved Bible. Jesus at his own mouth. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Jesus at his own mouth say that after I die and when I return, go into Bethlehem. I'm gonna find the shit for y'all. Go into Bethlehem. You understand? You're gonna find a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house therein. There I too shall be. He just told y'all. Y'all won't recognize me because right now my personification is as Pisces. This is my time right now as Pisces. You feel me? But when I die in the sign of Pisces and I return in the next house, I will be as a man carrying a pitcher of water. I won't be my two-fist manifestation no more. I'm going to be a man carrying a pitcher of water. There I'll enter. You'll see me there. I'll be new there. This is a book of astrology. It's not the only thing I can show you that's the evidence of this book of astrology, but the reason I specifically mentioned Aquarius, the man bearing the pitcher of water in the next house, is because right after this discussion, they start talking about what? The most terrible horror story you ever heard in human history, the book of Revelations. The most terrible horror story, all the monsters coming out the sea and shit, and dragons and beasts with a bitch on top, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? And she flaunting the cup, the goblet of the iniquities and all of that shit. And you're like, what the hell is it? How the Bible changed like that? How it go from sweet little Jesus, you know, who gave his life for us, to the most monstrous horror story in all of human. I'm telling you, every goddamn end of the world movie has fashioned itself after the book of Revelations. Why is the story so scary? Because the empire saw in these stars its own end. The book of Revelations. Why is it called Revelations? Because this was a vision revealed to Paul or whatever the fuck. Nope. Because the bitch on the bull, the bitch on the horned beast, draped in garments of scarlet and purple. That's what it say. She on a horned beast. Who is that if that is not Oya, y'all? Who is that if that's not Oya? Is that a stretch? Is that hard to believe? Because Christianity ain't but, what? Not even a couple of thousand years old. But Ifa, where the story is fashioned after its mythology, Ifa is estimated to be 3,000 to 5,000 years old. Talking about she who sits atop a horned beast, wearing purple and scarlet garments, carrying a gold goblet with the iniquities of whatever the fuck, whore of Babylon, la 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 la, this and that and this and that. And something like she will usher in to this and that and this and that. Something about getting drunk off the what is it? Getting drunk off the blood of the saints. That's a scary story for people who've been in power forever. Who would dare drink the blood of the saints? Oh my God. When I tell you that Oya, the great revealer, she who removes the mask so that your enemies can be seen. Child, that's what just happened on November 5th. She, the owner of the masks, who reveals the mask so that your enemies can be seen and judged. She too, who wears the mask to reveal your enemies. She can dress like the sexy, the prostitute, you feel me? Get up and close and personal because she's strategic like that. You feel me? Or she can wear the mask of the great androgyne. They say the bearded lady who puts on pants to go into battle. This is Oya. This story is old. The Odu are old. Is this a stretch? We always hyperfixate on how, quote, Christianity is a direct plagiarism of Kemetic tradition, but nobody ever talks about the relationship, the historical relationship between the Yoruba and the Kemetic traditions through who they call Oduduwa, who was supposedly, born in Egypt. I think I might have this backwards. Born in Egypt, but went to West Africa to give birth to the people who would become the Yoruba. There is a relationship that nobody ever talks about, and especially because we so linear. We think only about our mythologies, and that's it. But we don't think about the historical impact or reflection that these stories are telling. So we have always heard that Christianity is a direct plagiarism and bastardization of Kemetic tradition, but nobody ever talks about how she and other Orisha show up in the scripture because of this historical relationship between the people of Egypt and the people of West Africa, the progenitors of Ifa, having a common ancestor, at least where the mythology is concerned and the history of the people is concerned, having a shared ancestor in Oduduwa. You understand? That too is important because as I learned about Oduduwa and Ifa tradition, and I'm sure some devotee is about to get their panties in a bunch, because as a devotee, I always learned that Oduduwa was a male ancestor that both Kemet and Yoruba land had in common. Oduduwa was a male ancestor that we all had in common. The song is the song that admonishes Oduduwa basically says, we all are the children of Oduduwa. Emi omo Oduduwa owalo. Emi omo Oduduwa owalo. Bimolo sile, bimolo socha, bimolo sile sha. Emi omo Oduduwa owalo. This is it. This is the main song to admonish Oduduwa. And then I'm looking through my notes from 4 years back. I'm looking for my notes to get prepared for this Jack move we about to pull on November 19th. You feel me? And I got crazy random notes all over the place, right? I'm reading through my notes because I'm trying to find information that I can use and incorporate into the ceremony that we're going to do on the 19th. So I'm trying to find some, old stuff that I've written about, like the Iyamiaje and about Oya, to get ready for this thing. And I'm looking through these old notes written in 2019. Odu, which is the divination that you cast. Odu is the oracle. It's the 16 shells, right? Odu and Oduduwa, right? Odu and Oduduwa literally means the auricular utterance created the auricular utterance that created existence. The auricular utterance that created existence, right? But when you hear somebody say Odu, typically they're talking about the system of the book, or the ascriptions, the stories that go in partnership with the casting of the cowries. So there are 256 Odus in the Ifa Odu. Okay, there are 256 stories that correspond with the 256 ways that the shells can fall, right? This is the Odu. The Odu are the explanations of how the shells fell, okay? So, description. The Orisha Odu is the creator of the universe and all that thrives within. The Orisha Odu. It was a very long time that I was a devotee before I heard Odu ever referred to as she or as an Orisha. So I just told you that the Odu are the stories ascribed to the how the shells fall. But Odu was an Orisha. Was an Orisha. She was what? The creator of the universe and all that thrives within. She, Orisha Odu, is the originator of all existence and the womb of all origins. The Age is Odu. African women, the direct biological and spiritual progeny of Odu. Listen, African women, the direct biological and spiritual progeny of the goddess Odu are said to all inherently bear various aspects of her signature force, Age, Odu, womb of existence, and she exists biologically in menstruation. African women are the owners and controllers of the Age. They work on our behalf. The Iami Age, right? And I put a quote underneath because somebody asked where I found this. It was I put a date and I guess an author. It said 1958. Ali Beher, Allibeir. So I'm gonna have to go back to find that. But I wrote this in my book, in my journal, 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. Any elderly woman, this is a quote, any elderly woman, her longevity implying secret knowledge and power may be regarded as Age. Any elderly woman may be regarded as Age. We are all as are all who hold important titles in cults for the gods and the Orisha and ancestors. And then do you remember when I did the whole live on the significance of the Iami Age maybe 2 months ago? I think it might be in here. She was, let's see. As the galactic mother of all, this is a quote, as the galactic mother of all, Odu is logically the source of all. Let's see. As the galactic mother of all, Odu is logically the source of all Iwa. Iwa in Yoruba means identity, character, existence, which finds its origin and apex in the undiluted power of pure cosmic blackness. Also, cosmic blackness also translates in Yoruba to Dudu, D-U-D-U. Odu Duwa, the immense womb pot. This is what Odu Duwa means. The immense womb pot, Odu, of infinite depths and blackness, Dudu, that contains all attributes, characteristics, and identities in existence, end quote. Asheo Torah, let's see, and I have as a side note to revisit the Odu, Asheo Torah, and Osameji. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why did I get on that? Why did I get on that? What was I talking about right before that? Oh, I see y'all. Thank you so much for the compliment. Somebody said, yes, that video was a hit, or that video hit, the one on Music as a Spell. Taj Lee in the room. Okay, okay. Oya is segment. Yes. West Africa taught the royal families in Kemet. Appreciate that. So Dudu is the womb, therefore really a woman. Yes. I don't know if y'all saw the video I shared with you. It's an old video, maybe 12 years old, but it was called, it was by this brother who used to have a really nice channel. It's not really active anymore, but the videos that he posted are still up on there. But it was called, What is the Secret of the World? Did y'all see that video? I posted it a lot. I posted it in our Facebook groups. I posted it a lot. Women are the name of it is What is the Secret of the World? And he is a great storyteller. And he tells this story that is from the Odu, the Odu Ifa. And he says, I think it's a discussion about Orunmila. Orunmila is a story about Orunmila trying to understand the secret of the world. And he's told to make an offering to a tree, and but not to leave, to make the offering, and then to hide in quiet. And a woman that appeared as a bird came down to consume the offering, and he watched, and she knew he was there, and she called him out, and he said, I want to know the secret of the world. And she told him, this is Orunmila. This is who y'all all received when you received your hand of Ifa. You understand? Orunmila is asking the question, what is the secret of the world? What is the secret of the world? And as he makes his offering to the Iami, as he is making his offering to the Iami, they come down. They come down in the form of a bird to consume, to take up the offering, and then to tell him what he wants to know. What is the secret of the world? What is the secret of the world? And they say to him, women are the secret of the world. Women are the secret of the world. For any venture that you entertain must be blessed by a woman. And he goes on and on and on. He is a much better storyteller than I am. It was really beautiful. And this is from the Odu Ifa. This is a story about Orunmila. Orunmila. Listen. We have to read these mythologies from our own lived experience and perspective and see how they relate to our lives and what has to be done in this life to restore our humanity as a human family. And so anyway, I don't remember how I got on that, how I transferred from that to this, but let me say a few other things. Okay, so we in an hour and 18 minutes. So some very important things, because I just came right in the room swinging, no introduction or nothing. You feel me? Just came into the room swinging. But tomorrow is a very big day. I've been talking about November 19th, a lot, because it's huge. It's massive. It's going to change everything. But tomorrow is a very, 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 very big day. It's a very important day. November 11th, tomorrow of 2024, is the 2-year anniversary of the founding of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. The Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, founded by yours truly, will be 2 years old tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow's a big day. And we chose that day very strategically. And if you want to know the story of how we chose that day, me and the founding committee, then go back to the video about Veterans Day and 11/11 and all of that. And you will find out why we chose 11/11 as the day to launch the temple. But the temple will be 2 years old tomorrow. The temple will be 2 years old tomorrow, which is really exciting. And I'll be honest, I don't have anything planned magnanimous for tomorrow because I've been sitting in front of this computer for about 16 hours straight trying to plot and scheme for November 19th. How are we going to welcome Oya in her new position on the throne of the next age? How are we going to do that? How are we going to set this shit off in honor of Oya? How are we going to set this shit off? So I've been plotting and scheming. Many of you have received the email for what we are planning. There are a couple of things that I should just go ahead and make public. Whoop, shit. That I should go ahead and make public is that for this particular event, I labored over it for some time. And I will say this, that while I will say this, the ritual that we will be doing is for women of color who were born with a uterus. Women of color who were born with a uterus. So those people, women of color who were born with a uterus, will be able to participate either in person or via live Zoom in the event that we're doing on November 19th. I know that many of you, with me saying that, will probably have a myriad of questions. I've already had those questions asked to me directly. This is very strategic. This is very deliberate why I am doing this way. It is, and in all honesty, it is very timely given the shit that has unfolded over the last week. It is very timely the way that I have established this for it to be right now exclusive, okay, to people born with uteruses, women of color, okay? That does not mean that you cannot participate. You cannot participate in those two ways, in person or through the Zoom, but you can participate in other ways. So after this live, I'm actually going to be typing out the details for how you too can use your God-given ashe to participate in this unfolding that will be happening on November 19th. Okay, so if you are male, if you are any of the other things outside of that group, women of color who were born with uteruses, if you are outside of that group any other way, white, black, red, brown, yellow, cool, and you want to give your ashe to the celebration of welcoming Pluto, aka Oya, aka whatever that planet's name is in your ancestral tradition before Greek and Rome, and the mythologies that correspond with that, there is a way that you two can participate. And so I'm going to type that out. If you are interested in that, which I've had several people express interest, I am going to type that out. It's not complicated. It's not deep, but it is strategic. The timing is important. The times that I lay out are important. And then we, that's what got me on it. I went on a whole diatribe, but when I was talking about, the last thing I was talking about before I went into the Ajay and shit was how under the damn Inquisition, we was all witches. Natives was witches. Quote, this is the title. Natives was witches. You feel me? Black people was witches. Healers was witches. Midwives was witches. People minding their own business and not wanting to do what white people said was witches. You feel me? Everybody was a witch. So when I talk about how for all this time I've been wanting to hold an event that was like a stadium-sized witches revival that could rival some of these mega church people who got 30,000 people attending their Sunday service every Sunday. Like, can we do a revival? Can we have a witches revival? You know what I'm saying? Shit. I mean that. I ain't lying. I ain't giving up on the idea. Now, this thing that we're doing on November 19th is not that magnitude. You understand? And that's okay. But the intention going into that thing even laying this thing out, I'm just like, oh my God, this is gonna be too much for people. We trying to pull a spiritual revolutionary jack move on November 19th. Okay. And so if you are interested in participating, if you are interested in donating and contributing, the sister that is letting us use her property right now is going through a bunch of crazy shit because she bought her house, I think in like the late 90s, early 2000s, for relatively cheap because where she lives used to be all Mexican. And so she bought it relatively cheap. And since then, her whole entire community has been successfully gentrified, and she is the last holdout. And and so these people, these melanin deficient people, are on her all the time, trying to, you know how they do when they trying to get you out, code violations, always showing up unannounced for inspections, all this kind of shit. She's been catching a lot of hell. And so one aspect of what we're going to do is to purify her land, protect her land. You understand? Make her presence blind to those who would do her harm. You feel me? All the things. But she has allowed us to take hold of the space at no cost. She's not charging me a dime. She's like, I need this energy just as much as y'all need the space. And so she's not charging a dime. And I still want to have an aspect of, because when you go to the Eventbrite, when you inbox me or email me or whatever, and you go to the link that I send you, there is a sliding scale recommended donation. Will not turn anybody away who doesn't have the money. But we are asking for donations, one, because a lot of my life force, a lot of work is going into the preparation, and I'm going to be the one facilitating this this ceremony. One. Two, I want to support this woman. I want to support her property. I want to support this woman of color who these white people done set their sights on, like they always do when they feel like we isolated out in the world. I want to support this woman. So those of you who cannot be here in the flesh, but still want to make a donation and want to have access to the Zoom live link of what we're going to be doing, email me. I have a new email address. That was by force. I should have did it a long time ago, but then, I had to do it because of some crazy situation with my Zelle. So I know several of you have tried to send me money. You've told me so, and you used my old email address, which now I have to change on 278 videos. So we have a new email, and that email address also is the email address for the Zelle donations for the temple. So the email address is EVOEME, EVOEME, temp, TEMP at gmail.com. EVOEME temp at gmail.com. That's Evolutionary Emergence Temple. EVOEME temp at gmail.com. So if you want to make a contribution, a donation, you can use that email to send Zelle. That email to send a Zelle. EVOEME temp at gmail.com. You can also email me now at that email to get the link to the Eventbrite, because I've not made it a public event. I'm only sending this out through invite only. Those of you who live in another state or another city that's too far away, email me so I can send you the link so that you can at least log on to the Zoom. Those of you who will be logging on via Zoom, I will encourage you to make a donation to this event, to the unfolding of this event. So that's one thing. Tomorrow, what I am going to do, because I'd made no plans for tomorrow just because I've been crazy busy and whatever, but tomorrow is the temple's 2-year anniversary. So I'm off because it's these White People Veterans Day. So I don't have school tomorrow. So I will spend the day doing readings. So if you want to book a reading for tomorrow, which is not just the temple's second birthday, but 11/11 is one of the most highly revered energetic portals of the year. What are the big ones? It's 11/11, it's 12/12, and it's 8/8. These are the 3 big portals that we are always asked to take advantage of, at least in spiritual spaces or, esoteric spaces. 11/11 is probably the biggest one, probably bigger than the 8/8 portal, right? So So 11/11 is a portal tomorrow. So tomorrow is a really epic day, especially given what has just happened in this last week. Tomorrow is an epic day to get yourself a reading. So if you are interested in getting a reading tomorrow, I only have so many readings that I can do in a period during a day. I don't have anything booked yet. I did a reading this morning that was epic. I was in here taking notes on this woman's reading. But if you want to get a reading tomorrow, email me at evoemmytemp@gmail.com so that I can send you the details on how to book a reading. Tomorrow would be an epic day to do that. Also, tomorrow, there's something else happening tomorrow. No, it's not tomorrow. The full moon is coming up on Friday. Yeah, the full moon is coming up on Friday. It's a big week, but tomorrow is an epic day to get a reading. You feel me? Somebody said, Goddess Essence Energy says, I've been seeing 11/11 or 111 so much, and also been thinking about your readings. Hoping to go in person. Oh, that would be great, Samara. So you got the email, right, Samara? Yeah. Have you seen the email? And then Chloe Dior says, I am now officially taking that day off. Come on in the room. Okay. So November 19th is the day to remember. The event is going to be from 7 to 11. I'm going to be there probably at around 5 o'clock to begin erecting the altar. But the official event is going to be from 7 to 11. Just seeing the email. Okay, you're not using. I'm still using the old email, but I'm going to try to, I still check all three of my emails, but I just want to transition to the Evo Emmy for Temple business, because the Release Heart Center is my business as a healer, like what I do, like massages and stuff like that. That's how it started out. And then it was the only email I had that I was using regularly when I started the temple. So I just never transitioned. All the paperwork and that should be annoying to me. I know I need to do it, but it'd be annoying to me. The little, what do you call it? The task shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist. I need to be creating that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm a genius. I need to be creating that way. I don't need to be task mastering and shit. But anyway, so yeah, to answer your question, yes, PM, Chloe Dior, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. on November 19th, which is a Tuesday. Because want to send my findings to you. Okay. I did get the email. I need to read it all the way through. Yes, you do. And that is just an overview. The email that I sent is just an overview of what you need if you're going to attend in person, right? And you don't need everything on the list. You can choose the things from the list that you want to contribute, but everybody needs to bring an offering for the altar, stuff like that. So the details, you'll see these which items are optional, right? And which items are a necessity for everyone. So that's happening. Tomorrow is 11/11, the second birthday of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I will be doing readings all day. I'm off all day tomorrow. And then the 15th, Friday, is the full moon. So I will obviously be offering readings the day before, the day of, and the day after on the 14th, 15th, and 16th in preparation for that full moon. Yes, it's going to be outside. We're going to have a fire, like a big outside fire. It's up in the mountain, and even though she has like neighbors, they're still pretty spread out. So we're going to be making a lot of noise. You feel me? It's going to be a ritual. It's going to be a full ass ceremony. It's going to be a full ass ceremony. You feel me? Some stuff I can't talk about on here. What else? So the 15th, the 14th, 15th, and 16th, this whole week, I'll be doing readings. I'll be taking readings. So 30-minute or 60-minute readings. If you're interested in reading, evoemmytemp@gmail.com. This week is an epic week to get a reading. Okay. And then the 19th will be the following Tuesday. So that's all. It's 9 days away. So that's all I'm going to be prepping for the next 9 days. I still may do, shorter if I can, lives over that period of time. But we really need to be spending. The ceremony isn't just on the 19th. The ceremony starts today, 9 days away from the day, right? We really need to be taming, monitoring, guiding, directing, taking control and command over our own emotions. If you know that seeing something on your social media is going to trigger you into a response other than evolutionary certainty of what it is we are attempting to build, put it off till later. Put it off till later. Really, really be deliberate about how you are spending your emotional currency. Be forceful, be diligent about how you are spending your very valuable emotional currency. You do not need to be emotionally exhausted calling yourself trying to go into ceremony with the goddess Aya on the biggest day of modern history. That's what it is. That's what it is. This day, I've only been talking about it since I got hip to the game. That's since 2018. There are people talking about America's first Pluto return and have been talking about it for 20 years. It is huge. And that's why it's kept so quiet to you. That's why you don't know nothing about it. That's why you ain't hip to the game. It's so that you cannot tap in. What have I been saying for those of you who have been watching me teach about this for the last 4 or 5 years? That this event that we are talking about is quite literally a galactic silver platter being handed to us to assist us to guarantee success on our behalf if we take advantage of the platter that has been laid before us. So we have to be extremely diligent and purposeful and singularly minded. I'm talking about all of us. We have to be singularly minded over the next 9 days about what is important to us. What is it? I can't assume for the rest of y'all, but I can tell you what is important to me. What is important to me, the only thing that matters is to be a conscious, deliberate, willful, joyous participant in the unfolding of the future. That's it. Hold on. It is to say what is important to me for those of you who got cut off. What is important to me, I can assume for y'all. But if you're following me, if you're watching me right now at what time is it? What the hell time is it? 8:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on 11/10/2024. I cannot assume what is important to you. That I can tell you what's important to me. And I can tell you that many of you who are watching me right now have been following me for quite some time. And yes, it's a few of us. There's 40 people here on YouTube, and there's about 40 people on IG. Yeah, so there's 80 of us listening, participating in this exchange of energy. But I can tell you what's important to me. And I can trust that a great percentage of you, the same thing is what is important to you. To have this urge that you cannot articulate, this longing that you cannot give voice to feel in your body something that feels big, but scary, but also awesome. But there's nothing in your frame of reference that helps you to articulate it, because all you have been fed your whole existence is despair and woe and fear and sadness and depression and grief and loss. And it's all you've known. It's been more your norm than happy moments. It's been more your norm than blissful moments. But you still feel something that's so big, attempting to escape this outwardly imposed prison that has encaged your heart, that has trapped your spirit. You feel like your body is too small for the spiritual ambition that you have. Why do I feel trapped in my flesh? I've asked myself that. I feel like a giant. Why do I feel trapped in my flesh like it's a cage? This war waged within us from outside. And once the mother showed herself to me, baby, it all became like, oh my God, yes, it was so simple. They make it hard. It was so clear. They make it a mystery. It made such perfect sense. They complicate and confuse. To do what? What I told you at the very beginning of this live is to mine, just like they do in Africa, the coltan, the cobalt, the gems, the diamonds, the gold. They mine your spirit. They harvest your emotions. They bleed you dry spiritually. They exhaust you to the point of delirium to attempt to prevent your spirit from emboldening your flesh to do what your body and your flesh know needs to be done. This is a word. What both your body and your flesh know need to be done. Yeah. And they know you know. That's why they condemn every aspect of your existence. Every way that you present in the world, there is a condemnation for. Why you talk so loud? Why you sound like a man? Why you look like a man? Why your eyebrows crinkle all the time? Why you so aggressive? Why you look mean every time you talk? Why your hair look like that? You a grown up. You 50 years old. Why you got tattoos all over the place? Why can't you lose some weight? Why your butt so big? They have a critique for every single presentation of yourself in the world, because within you is exactly what I felt since I was a child. I felt like there was a giant, like a massive giant hidden inside my body, waging a war within me to break free. A giant. I always felt caged by the persecution of my flesh. The persecution of your flesh. Bitch, why you talk so loud? Why you so aggressive? Why black women this? Why women look like that? This and this and this and this. This week is that bullshit ass bullshit. Your body, my choice. It's a cage. It's a cage. It's a cage. And now they're desperate. That's why that bullshit that I was telling y'all about. It's like these motherfuckers been coming out the neck for the last 3 months. They ain't even trying to be, diplomatic in their racism. They ain't trying to have some decorum in the presentation of their white nationalism. They ain't trying to be stealth in their hostility. They coming straight out the neck. This is a cage. This is a cage. This is a cage. They are desperate. The more wild they get, y'all get scared because y'all believe the hype. I love it. I say, make them seen. That's what all y'all says. Baby, I came here to expose your fucking enemies. I came here to expose your enemies. I came here to remove the veil. I came here to remove the mask. I came here to expose them all. I came here to expose the wizard who is nothing but an inferior, sad simpleton, faking the majesty and the magic of his mother, hiding behind a veil, hiding behind a curtain, in the mastery of his machinations, in the mastery of his machines, creating an illusion of his bigness, even as he is impotent. Do not believe the hype. Do not let this maggot continue to exploit your giant, to cage your rage. I love everything that's happened this week. I said, y'all ain't gonna get me caught up in this shit, y'all. Y'all on here showing people your tears. Black women, do not do that. They love that. I've been telling y'all that for years. This shit is like straight up snuff films in the modern age. They love to see our suffering on TV. What do they call it out here? Trauma porn. They love this shit. This is how they energetically mine your emotions. They love to see you weak. They love to see you broken. They love to see you lamenting and woeing and begging. What would fuck them up is if the 92% of Black women who went to the poll to vote for this monstrous human being who just happens to have some melanated skin and a vagina, if those same women now shake off the dust, you feel me? And instead of going on here and putting all your fucking emotions on display, you come up on here stealth. I want to see 1 million women do a live that lasts for 20 minutes staring at the camera. Now tell me what I'm feeling. Child, listen. That silence would be deafening. That silence would be deafening. You don't owe them nothing. You don't owe them your emotions. You don't owe them. You do not owe them a peek into your life, a peek into your consciousness. Honey, the mother has come up on the scene to say, be clear about what you are witnessing. Their desperation comes out as violence. Their desperation comes out as violence. Their desperation, they are desperate when they can no longer be stealth. They are desperate when they can no longer keep their racism quiet, their white nationalism quiet, their white supremacy quiet, their patriarchal ambitions quiet. When they cannot keep their shit quiet, what everybody's saying? Oh, they finally saying the quiet part out loud. Honey, that ain't them. They ain't got no control over their tongue right now. They desperate. And the reason that they're experiencing this desperation is because Yah is handing them their ass. She said, y'all have to be clear about what you're witnessing. Colored people, y'all have to be clear about what you're witnessing. Colonized people, y'all have to be clear about what you're witnessing. Do not internalize their desperation as your own. I have come here to relieve you. I have come here to reveal your enemies. They are on display right now, baby. They on display. Not only they, guess what else is on display, baby? In this last week, Yah has revealed to you what I have been trying to tell you. That America is a Godhead creation of wealthy, white, religious leaders and nobles plotting and scheming on your life to establish a permanent slave state called America. America is a Godhead that you have breathed life into. America is a Godhead, not only a Godhead, America is a fucking war god. It has been since the day of its birth. The years prior to 1776 was the American Revolution, to date, still the bloodiest war America has participated in. More people lost their lives in the baptism of America than any other war that the United States of America has participated in. This was a birth ritual. This was a birth ritual. What is a birth ritual? Water and blood, bitch. Water and blood. What is it? The little sperm as white people coming over on the ships across the water where our ancestors are buried at the bottom. That's the water. The blood, indigenous people. The blood, enslaved people. The blood, males who gave their life, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, to the baptism of this rotten, filthy, monstrous bitch that has never not been. Filthy, rotten, and monstrous. Everything about America that everybody in the world sees as some demonstration or evidence of democracy, you fought like fucking hell for. You created anything that even resembles democracy in America. You did, and it wasn't your vote that did that. It was you getting knocked over the skull. It was you getting beat down. It was you getting water hosed. It was you getting pushed off your land in the motherfucking reservations. It was you in the Trail of Tears. Every goddamn single attribute of anything that looks even remotely looks like democracy